Good day, Saver School. I am Mr. Alphonse Chapitea, a junior high school English teacher and the moderator of the Saver Debate Team. Right now, you are over at Kiko's Corner and maybe you've watched some of our videos, and welcome to this video wherein I will be discussing logical fallacies. So these logical fallacies will be in this discussion of logical fallacies will be in a 3-episode series. So you have the episode 1 and then we'll be having 2 more episodes. In these 3 episodes, we will be discussing 7 most commonly used logical fallacies that we see and do exist on social media or even whenever you have argumentation and all. Alright, so let's start with logical fallacies. In the first place, what is logic? Maybe that's one question that we have to understand first. Logic is the science of thinking. When you have an idea, when you have an argument, when you have something in your mind and then you would want to be able to discuss it and all, that's logic, alright? But what is fallacy? Fallacies would be things that are utterly false, things that are wrong. So when you combine logical fallacies, these are wrong application of logic. So I think logical fallacies are very, very much present, especially on social media. And I know you all are present on social media. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, and all sorts of social media platforms. And one way or another, we see news, we see comments, we see posts from different people, and that we tend to be persuaded or one way or another confused by how these people would be using logical fallacies at that. So I hope after this discussion, logical fallacies, not that you would be able to understand what logical fallacies are, but for you to know how to engage these logical fallacies. So for today, we're only going to discuss 2. For the second episode, we'll discuss 3, and then the final 2 would be up on our last episode. Alright, so let's start with the most commonly used, and I believe you one way or another have heard about this. It's called hasty generalization. Well, based on the words, you can already know the definition of the hasty generalization. Hasty means fast, speedy, then generalization would be, concluding on one thing. So, hasty generalization means that a generalization is reached hurriedly. So, there are few instances, one or another, to support such a conclusion. That's why people call hasty generalization as a blanket rule. For example, I cannot speak Mandarin. My co-teacher cannot speak Mandarin. Therefore, all teachers at Xavier School cannot speak Mandarin. Well, if you're from Xavier School, you would know that that's a hasty generalization. Why? Because we have Chinese teachers in school. And there are some teachers who are not Chinese teachers, but they also know how to speak in Mandarin. So that's just utterly false. That's why, in terms of hasty generalization, we always have to question the population being referred to. It doesn't mean that if it happens to 3, 4, 5 instances, then a situation covers everything. Alright, so that's hasty generalization. I hope you don't fall under the trap, especially if there are only few people who are applicable to such a situation, then you will be covering them all. That does not lead you to better argumentation. Alright, and then there's one logical fallacy that I will not be discussing further, but this is what will lead, if you're coming from a hasty generalization, this will lead you to what we call a dicta simpliciter. This is not the second one. Dicta simpliciter is an argument based on an unqualified generalization. An example for dicta simpliciter is exercise is good, therefore everybody should exercise. But if that's right, exercise is good, but it does not necessarily apply to everyone. Why? Because if you have heart disease, you know that exercise is bad, right? Most doctors will tell you that you're not supposed to be exercising because you have heart disease. So how do we correct that? We can say that exercise is usually good, or exercise is good for most people. Alright, so that you will not fall. Dicta simpliciter is what you're led to dicta simpliciter if you do hasty generalization. So I hope you always have to understand it. The second one would be, we all know this, poisoning the well. Poisoning the well, or another term for this is the widely known ad hominem. Ad hominem is, instead of refuting an opponent's argument, the person attacks the individual instead. And you know that on social media, if people do not anymore know how to argue somebody or defend his point, what he does is he resorts to insulting a person. So that's ad hominem, or poisoning the well. For example, 2 men are having a debate. The first gets up and says that his opponent is a liar and he does not have the reputation to be listened to. So that's a clear example of poisoning the well, because instead of you attacking the person, No, I mean, instead of you attacking the points or arguments, you are attacking the person based on how he speaks, how he looks like, or or you may even say that he's ignorant or stupid at that. So always remember this: for you to be able to not commit poisoning the well or ad hominem, always attack the points or the arguments, never the person. That's rampant on social media, and I hope you don't get to do that. Alright, so we have two. That's hasty generalization and then poisoning the well or ad hominem. So we're going to discuss the other 5 in our next episodes. I hope you'll still be able to watch them. Thank you so much.